Hello, my name is Maria Fernanda, and I'm the host of IO Scholarship Superheroes podcast.
Easy, easy, so easy.
This podcast is only a 10-minute podcast that highlights the best kept secret of IO scholars, job recruiters, and community influencers. And most importantly, we want to provide you financial resources to go to college debt-free and become financially savvy.
Exactly. You're the most inspiring actually story because you live it yourself. Even you have to go against what your mother was perceiving as something you couldn't achieve. And probably she came from a place of care, like a mother. It's very important to not get discouraged when you have a goal, when you have something in mind, you should go ahead, especially in terms of achieving. There is no barrier to achieve higher education. The resources of scholars or organizations like the one that you're leading are really important to tap into those resources. So tell me about a story or moment that still give you chill about a student that you have helped, or even personally something that you went through that it was very difficult to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many student stories. It's really hard to choose. In one of my first cohorts that I had from the Coachella Valley, because at the time that I found out about the Experience Berkeley program, it really wasn't centered in the Coachella Valley. There was some students here and there that would apply, but I took it upon myself to expand the program fully to the Coachella Valley and have a cohort there. So my first year, I mentored 10 students from the Coachella Valley. And then the second year, I had 20. In that second cohort, I had a student, her name's Elizabeth. And she, I remember her telling me that she wasn't qualified for a lot of the top universities that she wanted to apply for. She wanted to go to UC Berkeley or Harvard. And she often would tell me, I don't think I can get in. I don't think I'm qualified. There isn't enough on my extracurriculars or my essays that I can talk about. And so she was able to persevere past those beliefs that she had, and then she got into UC Berkeley and she got a full ride to Harvard, and that's where she ended up going. She actually graduated 2 years ago, but man, she is just a superstar. She's been accomplishing so much. She comes from the same farm working parents in the Eastern Coachella Valley, and she got a full ride. And it wasn't so much where she went, it was what she showed our whole community what's possible. And she also goes back and tells students, you can do it. Don't close the doors on yourself. And I think students will look at her story or my story and think, oh, they had straight A's. They are naturally talented or they're naturally smart. That's not the case. I have to practice so much, even public speaking, reading and writing was not my greatest strength, but all these things I had to practice because I knew I had a goal in mind and I knew what I needed to do to achieve it. And so I tell students all the time, just tell me where you want to go and we'll work with you to get you there. You think finances is your barrier? Okay, here are some scholarships available to you. Here's this person that you need to talk to. There's this program that can support you. So there's so many things that we kind of help every student break down the barriers that they think are in their way, what really are in their way, but we help them navigate those resources that are available for them.
That's opening doors, information, opportunities. That's key to keep them in the right track. And as you said, if there is a mission, if there is a mission, a goal, there is a way to achieve those. I see that also a lot of students or parents that their misconception is that to apply, for example, for scholarships, they're only based on financial aid, and the majority are. However, the scholarship committee, they're looking for that resilient factor, the one that, that you overcome challenges. And how do you do that? That sometimes outpace more a student with a higher GPA. I'm not saying that it's not good to have great grades, but what I'm saying is that it's like the scholarship, especially for scholarship and workforce opportunities, leaders are looking of how are you planning to resolve this, how are you overcoming difficult times. So the story that you share with me is like, I guess, like, it's kind of your story in parallel of overcoming challenges, and no doesn't mean that you should stop there, and no should give you the fuel to get to the place that you want to be. So it's so good when you are in a place where you can mentor as you do, because you have a personal story to tell. I opened this platform because I got into the US and I won scholarships. So it's just, we have a mission to also open opportunities for more underserved and underrepresented students in STEM. And tell us a little bit more about, well, you are going to begin your master at Harvard Graduate School of Education. Congratulations. That's such a huge, achievement, especially because you were actually envisioning this since you were very young. So this is I'm sure that your family is so proud of you.
Visit IO Scholarships, as we have access to thousands of STEM scholarships based on your unique ethnic background, waiting for you today. Some of them only require 2.5 GPA and no essay. Remember, the more you apply, the more chances you have to win. Apply today.
What inspired this next chapter, and what impact do you hope to create when you graduate?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I actually, when I graduated in 2019, the pandemic happened in 2020, and Harvard created this new program that's the Online Educational Leadership Program. And it's meant for mid-career professionals that have at least 5 years of experience. At the time, I only had internships and part-time experience, so I actually didn't get in when I applied in 2020. And so fast forward to 2026, now getting in is another example to students that a no isn't a no forever, and that your journey can change and you can pivot, and things happen for a reason. So in those 6 years, I've grown so much, I've gotten so much more experience, and I feel like I'm better equipped to be a graduate student, but also a thought partner with my fellow graduate students that I'll be going to Harvard with, to be able to contribute to conversations about education. I just feel way more prepared than I did back in 2020. And now that I look back, I'm like, thank you, God, you were saving me, because I don't think I would have been as prepared. But I think the biggest motivation is just wanting to expand access to higher education. I blown away by how many students don't think they still belong in these spaces. And I feel like there is still a lack of resources in supporting more first-generation students to navigate the complexities of higher education. And even with my own story, like when I go to a lot of high schools to give presentations, a lot of students think like, oh, this is just another person who's going to talk us to sleep. Like they won't be paying attention. But as soon as I start sharing my story of how I grew up, and I kind of help them visualize how I was just in their seat not too long ago, and a lot of them see themselves in me, and you can't be what you can't see. So having someone from your community go back and share a story that resonates with you, and seeing where they are, and that they're also not limiting themselves, and me applying to a school who had rejected me and now accepted me, for them is like, oh wow, like if she can go to Harvard, I can also go to Harvard. And it's not necessarily for them to all want to apply to top institutions. It's for them to bet on themselves and to say, I can do whatever I set my mind to. There are people out there who genuinely want to support me, and I'm going to lean on those resources to get there.
I like what you say. You can be what you can see. And role models and leadership that looks and being in our same spot, they're so key in our careers. And you're so open that, I'm sure that a lot of your students link you in and want to connect with you afterwards to shape their journey. So, I want to understand, what advice would you give to your younger self, the one that started in this career and so forth?
Man, sometimes I even get emotional thinking about little Itzy and like just how I'm just so thankful for like the spaces I'm in, the opportunities I've had. And I look back and I see myself as a little girl, and I just want to hug her and tell her like everything you're working towards, everything you're enduring, it's all going to pay off. And if I can go back, I would just tell her to just keep going, to do exactly what she was doing, and to be that she's on the right path. And I don't think I would have waited as long to share my story. I felt like I had to have a fancy title or graduate from UC Berkeley to be able to give back. Like I would always say, oh, I want to go to college to change the world, but I don't necessarily have to do that, or I didn't have to wait to do that. I could change the world with my peers when I was in high school and motivate them, and us together apply to colleges, or if we're seeing a gap in affordability, like creating a group for that. So there's so many things I could go back and tell myself to just do it, take a leap of faith, and not be scared of what could be.
Yes, just do it. The time is now. You can make at any stage, as you said, in your career a big difference for somebody else. And I love that pairing model that you have in your organization, that somebody that is maybe 2 years ahead can give advice to another student that is just starting in their career. So Itcelia, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your incredible story, wisdom, and heart with our community. Your journey is a reminder that representation matters, mentorship matters, and that one person's commitment to lifting others can transform entire communities. Muchas gracias, Itcelia.
Gracias a ti.
Well, and to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and just join us next time for another inspiring conversation on the IO Scholarship Superheroes podcast. Thank you, and see you next time.